Hello and welcome back to some more Dwarf Fortress. This is the Koi Boy and we're continuing our EarthenCastle Fortress. A fortress dedicated towards those animals. We have been having a little bit of lag issues with this, so I've been kind of actually going over some of the more kind of just explaining workshops and those little things to help anyone who's new at this game to kind of be able to understand what we do and how it all works. Looks like it's still in that kind of slow state. We do have quite a bit of butchers going, trying to work through some of these animal backlogs. That's fine there. This is fine here. I think I might need to move our leather workers workshop. Maybe throw another butcher over here just to help get through that bit of backlog there. But in the meantime, we'll kind of continue where we left off. We were explaining some of the workshops. We did get through explaining all these ones on the basic level. So now time to kind of explain some of these ones over here. The clothing and leather workshops. So you got leather, you got loom, you got clothes, and you got dyer. Currently I don't have a dyer built here. It's more like being able to help get your dwarves, say if you want a bunch of dwarves with blue capes, you can do that. But the dyer's workshop isn't really anything you're going to necessarily need. The leather workshop, if you got a lot of animals, a lot of leather, this is going to be very needed right here. Here's my leather's workshop. I'm going to make sure I move that at some point. But here are all the many different things you can make with leather. Starting off at the very top, let's scroll right back up there. We can make some instrument pieces. I prefer, when I get my instruments, I prefer to just straight up buy them, but you can always come over here, make instrument piece. So Boonun head, Doomat bags, Doomat bellows. You're gonna have to build some of the components for these instruments at other workshops. Usually it takes about 3 items for most of the instruments. So this Doomat bag and bellows, there's probably another workshop that has that last thing you're gonna need to make a full set, or to be able to make the full instrument. And go to cancel that. And mainly with leather, it's what you'd expect, kind of clothing kind of stuff. So starting off with the top, you got your armor. So default for your military archers is leather armor. If you want, you can also create a close-up melee group with all leather armor. Also, I recommend metal because it protects so much better. But if you're lacking on metal early, you don't have your metal industry up, leather armor is a good, just kind of get it in there, help your dwarves wear that armor if you're dealing with early attacks. Backpacks are going to be a necessity for your military dwarves. Backpacks, and I scroll down here, water skins, and then you can also make metal flasks. These are all for your military. Your military will wear the backpacks. They'll carry food in those backpacks, and when they're out on long extended attacks or when they're stationed at a place for a while, they'll be able to eat from that backpack food. And then water skin works the same, but with liquids. Flask is just the metal version of that. Next, bags. Bags are going to be very necessary through your dwarf fortress playthrough with certain things. For example, if you have your hospital and you need gypsum powder, you're going to need to put that gypsum powder in a bag. Your dwarves will also store food items into bags, so you can get a bunch of seeds and they'll put those all into bags also. So bags are going to be one of those things that at some point they're going to be necessary. You don't need to make a huge amount of them, but they're really nice. Leather buckler, along with, I don't believe, yes, oh yeah, leather shield. So leather buckler is just a smaller version of the leather shield, usually used with your archer dwarves as a bit more kind of them able to move around a bit quicker with the buckler, but it doesn't provide as much protection. And then you get some of your more basic clothing, caps, cloaks, coats, dresses, gloves. You can make helms, high boots for your military, leggings for your military, loincloths, mittens. You got quivers. Quivers are for your archer dwarves, of course. Your archer dwarves you'll need one quiver per dwarf, and it'll be where they kind of store all their ammo. So once you get a military group going, you get your archers going, you're gonna need some quivers. Then you got robes, more clothing, shirts, shoes, trousers, water skins, and then sewing leather images. This just sews an image onto a pre-existing item, just increasing the value of that item. Now coming back down to workshops, clothing and leather. We've got our loom and then our clothes. So here is my loom. There's only a couple of things your loom will do. One is you can select collect webs, or you can also, coming under here under standing orders, you can automatically collect webs here, and that task will automatically pop up, and your dwarves will go and collect webs. You can also, your dwarves should automatically be set to weave thread into cloth or silk, also under that standing order, which I like to have. There's really not many times I feel that I come across it where, hey, I don't need to automatically weave my thread into cloth. So that is one of the things right here, automatically weave all thread, or you can individually set up that task to get them to weave that cloth constantly. I like to leave it just how it is, so that as soon as we make that thread, we're making the cloth afterwards. And then finally, that last workshop, the clother's workshop, does exactly what it says. You can select what kind of clothes you want, cloth, silk, yarn, and then you got pretty much all the different clothes. There's one other thing in here that isn't clothes, and that is your rope over here. Ropes and bags. Bags we just kind of went over. Ropes are basically chains. So ropes and chains are used interchangeable. You need ropes for like a well, or if you need a rope for a traction bench, or ropes for your little prison area. So that pretty much covers all of that stuff. Let's get rid of all these extra things up here, and then move on to the next side of things. Whoops. Let me just select down here, I meant. Workshops. Farming. Now, farming, we've got quite a few things in here, and I can kind of just explain it as you go. You've got your farm plots, which we have farm plots all around here. You just select here, and then you can select the size of your farm plot, and they'll make that farm plot. Just note, hey, if you create a large farm plot, you can't like section it off and be like, okay, I want plant here, plant here, plant here, plant here. You have to have each individual farm plot if you want multiple different resources. So I've got one farm plot here, one farm plot here. I've got two different ones down here. And one thing to note with farm plots is you have an above ground version and an underground version. So the underground version is, say I have this right here. You can see right above it, this is all completely covered up. This is the normal ground, and then I dug under it, and I'll create an underground farm plot. However, with this area, I can create it above ground here, or what I did here is I created a bunch of channels, and then that completely cleared this out, leaving this all fresh, exposed to the top of the to the outside, and then I set those farm plots. Now this lets me farm any kind of exterior resource. So that's just a little easy way to set up if you want these to be at the same level, you can kind of do a little thing like that to be able to build an outside farm plot right next to an inside farm plot. It's really nice, really helpful, and with the outside farm plots, every resource here is able to grow every single season. Interior farm plots, you have certain resources that can only grow during certain seasons. So just remember that. Next, we have our still. Our still is going to be another main staple of our fortress. Along the farm plot, usually, the still definitely, you're going to need to get your drinks up. Your dwarves will drink liquor water if they're thirsty, if you have nothing else to drink. However, you want to make sure your dwarves have a constant supply of alcohol. It boosts their mood so much, keep lending to higher amounts of happy dwarves rather than having higher amounts of unhappy dwarves. You don't want unhappy dwarves because they just cause problems. Next is our butcher. Butcher, you can individually select certain things, catch live land animal, extract from land animal, or butcher an animal. You can see over here there's tasks to butcher a stray one hump camel. You don't actually select that from the butcher shop. You come down here to all your citizen information, and under pets and livestock, this is where you can actually select that. You can see right here there is a toggle whether this creature will be slaughtered at the butcher shop when opportunity arises. So that'll actually create that task at that workshop for those animals to be butchered. As you can see, I have a bunch of tests set up right here. These are all ready to be slaughtered. So as soon as butcher shop has an open slot, they'll have that test put in there. Now, to catch live land animal, you will need a animal trap, different than cage traps. Animal traps are needed to catch those small pests. If you don't have any cats, you're going to need one of your dwarves to go around and catch live land animals. I recommend just starting off your game with a couple of cats, a male and a female usually, and then you'll get more cats from there, which will help deal with any pests rummaging around your little food area. You see I got all my a handful of cats down here, and they're basically protecting my food from any pests. Extract from land animal, there's only certain things that you can extract from land animal. This test will most likely be cancelled, so I'm not really worried about that. I really haven't come across any real use of that quite yet, other than maybe you can extract some stuff to be able to sell to the trader. Okay, that is fine. Just want to look at that. It automatically cancels there. And that pretty much covers the butcher side of things. Next, we'll go over the next little workshop over here. And that is going to be the tanner. Tanner is usually just automatically set up, so as long as you build it, it should be really helpful, or automatically set up to 10 hides. I believe that is also another standing order. Whoops. Under work order, no, labor. Standing orders, automatic tannery. So that makes your dwarves automatically tan those hides. And that is where you get that automatic thing right here where it says tan hide. I didn't set up that test, it automatically did that. I almost forgot to note over here at the butcher, where it says butcher animal, I didn't set up that task. Or did I? I might have done that. But your dwarves, if there comes across a carcass that they can butcher, and you have this automatically butcher carcasses marked, they'll actually grab those carcasses and butcher them. Sometimes they're actually just butchering the skeletons, but you get bones from that, which is really nice. If you want that, you can slaughter any marked animal, no automatic slaughter. I want those ones I are selected to be slaughtered should be slaughtered. Nothing new there. Now there's also make parchment task over here. This takes a couple of other individual things to do. You need to make the milk of lime. I prefer not to really to make that parchment stuff. I'd rather use that skin or that hide or skin to just make into clothes or whatever I need here, and then make my own sheets using the cloth, because cloth tends to be a lot more. You get a lot more compared to having animals and having to butcher them and get that leather. It's a lot easier to make sheets, and parchments are basically the same thing as or are the same thing as sheets. They're just made out of animal hide instead of paper or instead of anything else like that. Let's see. Okay, that's fine right there. And pretty much covers that section. Whoops. Under workshops, we'll go to the next thing, the fishery. I do not have any fisheries set up, but once you actually get it set up, any fish that your dwarves catch will automatically, if you have it set to automatic fishery in that little standing order, will automatically be processed and you'll be able to have a supply of fish. Right now, I really don't like to do the fishing thing because every once your dwarves have that possibility of completely fishing out all the fish in a region. So fish are kind of a limited resource. I wish there's a way of kind of changing that, but for now your dwarves can basically fish everything out of a river or everything out of the underground. And then you'll end up having no food supply there. So fisheries are good early on if you don't have any other food supply, but they will kind of they do have that limited resource, and you will end up running out of fish at some point. Next, the kitchen. I've got my kitchen set up right here. I've got it to automatically render fat, but this is where you prepare easy, fine, and lavish meals. Now, one thing to note, if you make easy meals, less resources. Also, if you're making like a plump helmet easy meal or one of these farmed things easy meals, you'll actually get the seeds back. But once I believe it's lavish and I think fine also, you don't actually get those seeds back. So I would wait until you have a good supply of food, seeds to be before swapping over to fine and lavish meals. I've got it set up under a work order. It's not here, but it's down here that every time we get down to a certain point of. Do I not have that set? Oh, I think it went away. Oh, yep, right here. Prepare lavish meal. Once we get down to a certain amount of prepared meals, I have that to be automatically set for our dwarves to make some more lavish meals. I'm not sure why they're eating things like this, where that's clearly just some kind of meat instead of actually grabbing the prepared meals that we have. But hey, what do I know? Dwarves, I guess that you guys want to eat that kind of raw stuff instead of nice, fine, lavishly cooked meals. Be my guest. Maybe I do this. Let's increase this. Oops. To 15. We'll call that good there. Alright, that pretty much covers the kitchen. You also have this render fat test. If you have it set to automatic, your dwarves, once they butcher the animals, those butchering animals will have fat, and that fat will come to the kitchen and you can render it into tallow. Tallow can be used for soap making, or you can also cook with tallow. So I just like having that, leave it automatically made. There's really nothing I've found that I need the fat for. Other than that, so we'll move on to, why do I keep clicking over there? It's because there's a little hammer and it's like, oh hey, hammer. Alright, workshops, farming, Farmers. Okay, farmers, querns, vermin catchers workshop. Really won't go over this. It's pretty much the same thing as what we are able to select over here to catch live animals. This is just pretty much purely dedicated to that. But you can capture and train small animals here, where we have a couple of like this bark scorpion. We can capture bark scorpion if we're lucky, and then tame it. They're not really used for anything. Hey, I got a couple animals I need to actually select to be trained real quick. Or at least just one. Ooh, agitated dingo. Oh, you're fighting. Wax worker. Oh, okay. Run, wax worker, run! Yes, please keep going. Okay, good. He lost sight of him. And if we get lucky and that dingo will wander down over here, we can capture him. But back to what we're doing over here. Your farmer's workshop. This is going to be one that has quite a few different things in here. Biggest things is really milk animal, make cheese, and process plants, and shearing animals and spinning threads. You can also process plants in barrels and vials and bags, and that's how you're going to work to be able to get your quarry bushes, which I don't think I have quarry bushes I'm growing. Yeah, quarry bushes to be able to use to process that stuff down. But you'll need a bag, you'll need a barrel, or you'll need vials to process these things. There's really not much over here you can do, or to do. Process plant to bag, I believe the quarry bushes, you'll process that stuff, and then you can make with those quarry bush leaves, you can brew that into dwarven rum, I believe. One of the dwarven drinks, the main staple dwarven drinks. But for the most part, processing plants is what we use to make the thread. Then milking and making cheese, pretty self-explanatory. You get the milk, you make the cheese with the milk. Shearing animals and then spinning their thread, very simple there. We did go over querns last episode, so really don't need to go over this again. But that pretty much covers all of our workshops. Next, furniture. I mean, a lot of this stuff is self-explanatory. Beds for beds, chairs and tables, chests for our dwarves to store their items in, cabinets to store their clothes in, burial, which is coffins, sarcophagus, any kind of thing like that to bury your dwarves. Slabs are for those dwarves that need to be memorialized, which I don't have any slabs made up myself right now. And then statues, they add value to rooms. They also are something that you can just kind of strew around your fortress, and your dwarves might just take a look at them and be like, hey, I like looking at this fine statue right here. So, say I've got this room and I need to increase the value. I still need to put a weapon rack in the chest for you. But you can see at the very top right there, it says, I've got an opulent throne room. He just needs a normal throne room. If I had something less than a normal throne room, and I need to increase that value, and I can throw some statues in there. You can throw any kind of furniture into these rooms and it'll increase the value of that room. You help get that going for you to be able to satisfy those needs for some of your dwarves. Let's see, did I need another chest or was it a cabinet? Petrified wood coffer. Yes. Let's actually quickly build a couple of these things. Put a chest over here in this room, petrified wood, and then I'll put an armor stand. Come on, right up here. Oh no, I need a weapon rack, not the armor stand. Oh, they still need to make it? He's doing it right now. Okay. Well, we'll at least get that queued up for the chest made. And then we'll go back to the furniture right here. Traction benches. This is something you'll need in your hospital. It's for setting bones. It's a place where your dwarves can put someone that's really badly injured, throw them on the table to help kind of like their mini operating table, I would say. You've also got bookcases. This is for your library. You set up bookcases and your dwarves will store books in those bookcases. We've also got a pedestal or display. Say you want to display an artifact or something of value, you can put a display up and then you can put an item on top of that. So I've got maybe like a stone figurine I want to display. I can't just put that stone figurine down. I have to put a display down and then I can put the stone figurine on top of that. Next, we've got an offering place. This is basically kind of just increases the value of the room. I like to have them in the temples. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then instruments. Some instruments are too big to fit into chests, so you can straight up build them on the floor themselves. Once I can, I'm going to build maybe a straight little line right here of more floors, and I'll put some instruments over here for our dwarves to play. And that covers all of that stuff: doors and hatches, construction, all this. Not you guys think around with that. I'll kind of go over all this citizen information now, and all these tabs. So first one, this shows all of your dwarves here at your fortress. Shows what tasks they're doing, depending on what labor you have selected over here. And hey, you can also select this. So if your dwarf is not doing anything, you can select this for your dwarf to do there. There's free tasks, so any task that isn't selected over here in the labor, that is, so clothier, I've only got these guys selected. So if a dwarf doesn't have that free task ability, then they're not going to go do anything with that. However, like this guy, he's not about to come do this because it's only selected will do this. Now, let me kind of go over here. Now, crossbow making. I don't have anything selected here, so anyone with that open free task thing will come and they'll do crossbow making. They'll also do trapping or small animal dissection or gelding or fishing, well, fish cleaning because I have that, or fish dissection or wood crafting. Like any of these things, your dwarves will automatically go do the stuff that isn't individually selected already. That's what this little symbol right here means. This lets you basically go right onto your dwarf, see what they're up to. This lets you actually look at their sheet automatically, so you can do that two ways. You can actually find them in there, hit that, or you can individually just select the dwarf and it brings up this same little sheet. And it always will come to this overview. Let you kind of look at just a little bit information about your dwarves. This guy's values stoicism. He's got good intuition, high stamina. He's clumsy, however. He's not really ambitious. He's got high social awareness. He's 23-year-old. She is healthy. She's got no official position, so she's not a noble of any sort. She's not part of any squad, however, she does have a little bit of. She's a dabbling discipline and a dabbling observer. This will show the highest skills it has. Some doors might have a long list. This girl is a professional miner with a novice stone cutting and then dabbling into butcher, wood burner, and silver. And there's a couple of unmet needs like eat good meals. If I get them to meet these needs, then their happiness should be able to go up. So if I get them to eat a good meal, craft objects, be with family, martial training, be creative, excitement, hey, I can try to work on getting them some of this stuff. And this is their daily thoughts or their most recent stuff. So they feel satisfied at work. They feel relieved being near a waterfall. They're bored after unable to practice a craft. And they're uneasy after a lack of decent meals for too long. And then bored after being unable to practice a martial art for too long. Doesn't feel anything after being away from the family for too long. And then she's feeling pleasure in remembering putting on an exceptional item. This is just all of the most recent thoughts. Come up here, I can look at their relationships. Looks like this one has a huge family, but none of the dwarves are here. You would be able to see this and this if any of these dwarves were here. And you see, hey, they're passing acquaintance with these three folk down here. These are their deities. Next is groups. So our dwarf miner here, she is a citizen of the Galley blockades. That is our overall citizen or civilization. So any dwarf in our kingdom is a galley of blockade. She's a member of the Untamed Griffins. That is specifically this site over here, our fortress here, is specifically the Untamed Griffins. So any dwarf I've got here at this fortress is a member of the Untamed Griffins. She's also a former militia captain here. I think it's probably because I did have to like throw them in there to get them to run away from somebody at some point. There's got nothing under the military as for their squad because they're not part of a group. They've got no uniform because she's not part of a group. And then kills. She's got no kills under her belt. Now thoughts. This is a longer version of that bottom part of the overview slab. Now there's also memories. Memories will greatly affect your dwarves. You want your dwarves to have good memories, and that will overall increase their happiness. If you have a dwarf that just always has bad memories, they're going to end up coming over here and being unhappy. So, got quite a few. They're uneasy after seeing this goblin's body, learn to disdain power. But overall, gratitude, relieved, blissful, delighted, pleasure, gratitude, relieved, blissful, relieved, blissful. This shows me that she's got overall very happy kind of just throughout the years. However, I've only had her since the summer of 116. She's only been here since 116. That lets me know, hey, they came 2 years ago. Next is the personality. Personalities, you can kind of try it if you want. I mean, there's 200 dwarves, so if you want to individually try to go through each of your dwarves and kind of tailor what they're doing and to line up with their personality, go right ahead. So this one, she has great intuition. Sorry, I would say with that personality, because all these things will affect that. Great intuition, very good feel for social relationships, and a feel for music and a way with words. She might be a great poet or a performer of some sort. Now, really driven and really feels the need to pursue even a modest success. Feels a strong need to reciprocate any favor done for her. She's very polite, not very particularly interested in what others think of her. She does not easily fall in love, and rarely develops positive sentiments. Now, go through here and read all this stuff. Now, there's values over here. This is one of the things that you'll want to kind of definitely look at some point because of this very last part. She dreams of mastering a skill. When she gets that skill mastered, then that'll get a really good mood buff for that dwarf. And also fall into their memories, so it'll be an overall thing to very much make them happy. Now this person, They like realgar, pig iron, star rubies, giant wild boar leather, giraffe horns, and backpacks, puzzle boxes, and cats. Now, right here, where it says cats for their aloofness, this dwarf will adopt cats. That just automatically tells me that. Now, there's ones. Now, in the sound of the mother of song, when possible, she prefers to consume potato plants. So if you got potato plants growing, she'll prefer to eat them. They'll also increase her happiness. Sorghum beer, soft wheat seeds, and cranberries. She absolutely hates slugs. So if she sees a slug, then she won't be too happy. Now this is just a larger version of that slot on the overview telling her unmet needs. So if we can try to increase some of these needs. Like, hey, might need some more decent meals overall. Might put her on to be able to start doing, I don't know, some stone crafting or something like that. We will at least just practice a craft. Mining is not a craft. Anything under the craft store thing is. She's distracted after being away from the family. Really doesn't have any family here, so that's gonna have to sit on Matt. We can put her into a military squad and practice a small martial art. Maybe have it once a year or 1 month in the year. Have her practice a little martial art skill, and then that'll also go up. Next, we can look at all her items. So she's got her water buffalo leather cap on. She's also got a rock salt crown on top of that. It doesn't really show that. It will show the cap, however. She's got her steel pickaxe. She got some earrings in here, some llama bone earrings. She got dress, some trousers. She's got 2 crowns on, actually. Maybe she's got them like one on each side of her head. And then she's got a bracelet on, then her cloak, some socks, some shoes. You might every once in a while want to look at the items through your dwarves and be like, oh, see, this one has this little X next to it. That means that item is starting to be worn. And I can click this and see, hey, this object is showing some wear. Anything with that little small X will show that. And then it'll become a large X, and then there'll be 2 X's when it's like completely disintegrated. So that lets me know, hey, I might need to make some more caps in general for our dwarves. This shows all the health problems this dwarf looks like. Really hasn't had any military or anything as far as being hurt at all. There's no statuses, no wounds, no evaluated wounds at least. There's not been any treatment scheduled. This is if your dwarves get hurt and they go to the hospital, they'll have this right here. She was brought to bed in the very first year she was here. Under the description, it might tell you some extra little things, but this will sit here and it'll tell you what she looks like. So she's actually a tall dwarf. She's got very long hair that is neatly combed. Her somewhat short head is extraordinarily broad. Her lashes are short, her eyes are free-lobed, her hair is ochre, her skin is dark tan, and her eyes are cobalt. Next thing to look at is the skills area right here. So this is all your labor skills. Most of your dwarves will have skills in this. This lets you, it'll tell you all the skills from all the different things she's got. She's only got 5 things. We kind of also saw that in the overview, but the overview, if there's more than 5 skills, this is where you kind of look and see that. Also shows all the combat skills, so dabbling discipline, dabbling observer, her social skills. So she's dabbling in all these little things, but it doesn't look like she's really much of a social dwarf. She's got other skills. She's a dabbling student and a dabbling reader. She's probably come over here and read some books. And then her knowledge. So she's got wow, she's got a lot of these history things. She might become a historian. From personal interviews, historian causation, biography, cultural history, surveying, economic data, rainfall, and then these are the stuff she's she knows as far as like singing and that kind of performing art that we talked about. And then she's also read a handful of different poems, manuals, cultural history right here. So Cog as Zumkin, you know what? Just because you were chosen to go through and be looked at, I will make you a scholar. Boom. And now she is a scholar, so whenever she's not mining, she'll come up here, she'll read books, she'll be a new dwarf that maybe will write some more books. Ooh. Making sure we don't forget about our fortress. Looks like we've got some more, where's it? Porcupine pups. Yes. Oh, wild boar pup right there. And there's that porcupine pup. Just gonna scroll up real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything as far as the adult ones, like these ones right here. Some animals are born adults. Looking good there. I will release that giant grasshopper over here, although I should probably just butcher it. Yeah, this one that doesn't have a name, I will select them to be butchered, as we are experts in the animal training of giant grasshoppers. There's really no reason to keep them around, so we'll let that happen and go through. Let's see. They are working on getting this completely covered. Let's see. I believe it's 10 across. Let's see how much I've got. 27. That's at least another 2 rows. I want to cover up this area. That way, no flying animal will automatically just see these fly into here and try to attack my little porcupines. Protect those guys. Alright, looks like they've gotten this done. So I'm going to build some beds in here and set these up as bedrooms. And with that, it's a nice little segue into zones. Zones are going to be a very needed thing. I'm going to create these bedrooms before I start going over this. Except, yep, you can go right into that bedroom. Except, yep, you're good to go into that one. And finally, except, and ooh, yeah. Who's that angry one? Sure. Alright, we'll get those bedrooms. Oh, we have quite a few new king snakes. Now, one thing to remember, anything born from a nest box, you'll need to automatically tell them to go into that pen and pasture. Or else, they'll just start wandering around your fortress. Anything born live birth will stay and automatically selected for that pen and pasture. And that lets me actually, those king snakes were born completely grown up. So they're going to show up right here. Which is actually not the worst thing. But it also means I'll never actually be able to have tamed king snakes. But this, having it like this, my dwarves will get more training on them, which will actually increase my overall training with them quicker. So I'm knowledgeable. I should be experts here with them soon. And with that, it'll be even quicker. Oh, more king snake eggs. Yes, we'll make sure that nothing can come over here and try to take those. think one of the big things we're running into is like giant cave toads. We got a whole bunch in here. All these cave crocodiles. We'll definitely have to start butchering some of these things. I think these are really what's kind of causing a lot of that lag. One of the other things we were doing, I will get to zones, don't worry, is finishing up all of this over here. Siltstone blocks, okay, we got at least a couple more. So we got a couple more siltstone block stuff set up. And I'm actually going to quickly set up a handful of little tasks for dwarves to be able to do real quick. Right before I kind of explain how the different zones work. 14, do I got 14? I got 13. Oh. Right there, that'll have to do for now. Alright. And then I'll get these walls set up for our dwarves to start working on also. 10, 10, perfect. Okay, zones. So, zones, you've got meeting places. I mean, you can kind of read through this list. But meeting places is one of your big things that you'll end up doing. It is where you set up taverns, temples, hospitals, and other things like you can have zoos set up there. Although zoos aren't exactly an official an official site. So, real quick thing to show. I've got a meeting place set up right here. This meeting place is designated as the Farmers Guild Hall. I can set up a new meeting place. Say right here. This will be good for now. Accept. Now this will be a place where your dwarves will just come, hang out, meet. Usually, if you have nothing else selected and you have no other meeting places, your dwarves will go there. I've got so many other meeting places, dwarves really won't go over here. However, you got this next little thing is you can assign it a new or existing location. So this is how you set up libraries, hospitals, guild halls, temples, or inns / taverns. So the one over there, my dwarves requested to have a guild hall. So I put a new guild hall, and when you do that, you actually have to select which guild you're setting it for. So I can actually create a guild hall for, I don't know, say these stoneworkers, or say the miners. Once your dwarves have 10 dwarves with skills in those categories, they'll actually create a guild, and then they'll actually request a guild hall. Temples are where your dwarves come and worship, and right here you can see, hey, I've got all these different deities. If I scroll all the way down to the bottom, these are the different groups that we have. So I've got 3 worshippers here. I've got 22 here, 6. Not every dwarf that worships that Mebzuth will actually come and join this, but all these dwarves that are in here are worshippers of that person. In fact, you can set up a hospital everywhere. You got one set up over here, and then you got your library, which I've got one set up here, and then our inns and taverns. I don't have any inns and taverns set up quite yet. I've got a dining hall where dwarves just come and eat. Inns and taverns, you can get outside visitors to come visit these taverns. They actually will come visit libraries, guild halls, temples, and hospitals. Well, maybe not the hospitals. I'll show you how that is. So if I click over here, I can have it select all visitors are welcome here. Citizens and long-term residents only, which actually I'm going to have that selected because that's actually what I want. And then the last one is citizens only. I don't have any long-term residents, so it doesn't matter here, but yeah, I'll have citizens only are allowed to go into here. Another way to look at the different places is right here, places, locations, and you'll see, hey, this shows me all the different places. I've got my hospital with 6 people assigned and 1 patient. Hospitals, you'll have to assign, I've got a doctor assigned, a diagnostician, a couple surgeons, and then a couple bone doctors assigned. So your doctor just kind of does all the different tests, but each one of these is more selected for the dwarf. So, hey, this guy's a bone doctor. Here's all of our bone doctors and such. Our diagnostician. We've also got surgeons, which I don't believe. Let's actually take a quick look at that. Kubat, Moral, Unib, and Dobar. Let's see, we might be able to add a couple more people. So these guys are right here. Are we all selected into this? So you're not actually selected into any of these things, but you are a High Master Surgeon, and you are also an Accomplished Surgeon. So you know what? I'll throw you in as surgeons. In Kubuk and Moral, you can actually become just normal doctors, as you've got other skills like a professional diagnostician. And you're also a adept diagnostician slash bone doctor. Let's get those random other people as surgeons. Yes, Kubak, Likot, and who was the other dwarf? Oh, oops, I selected the wrong thing there. I wanted to make sure I selected surgeon down here. Erush. Boom. And I've got a couple more doctors. Added a couple, or moved the surgeons up to the doctors as they've got skills to be able to help out all across the board. But that is kind of basically your dwarves and what they can assign to the hospital zone. Now the library zone, there's 2 different categories. There are scholars and there are scribes. Scholars will sit there, ponder, read stuff, write new books. The scribe basically will go there and make copies of books. So they'll grab a quire and then they'll make copies of books that will have, so that there's not just one of those books. So if that one book gets destroyed, then you lose all that written knowledge. But if you get multiple books, then you'll have of that stuff, then you'll have copies of it and it will never actually truly be lost. Well, it looks like our surgeon is throwing a tantrum. That's fine. Once he actually causes some kind of ruckus, my was it? I'll send my justice squad onto there. Next, I'll go over the temples. So temples, this is a no particular deity temple. People who come over here and worship anything. I've got quite a few different performers over here. They're really not doing any kind of performing stuff. But say I've got right here, this is a recognized priesthood. They actually have another little spot called, for this one particularly, the Holy Moistness. Is basically their temple leader. While this one, the Ashen Creed, theirs is the Sacred Fate. This one is not recognized as a priesthood at all. No, this one is dedicated purely to Mezbeth, the Water Seas. This is purely dedicated to the deity, while this is only dedicated to, or is dedicated to the whole group, to that particular, I call them cults. that kind of goes over temples. I've got my dining hall. I didn't set up anything else other than that. I think guild halls. Guild halls, there's nothing you can select here to add any people here. The only thing is really the value. Those dwarves in those guilds come over occasionally and they'll sit there and they'll chat and they'll discuss stuff and they'll, I don't know, they'll actually teach other dwarves stuff in that particular knowledge basis. And I'm thinking at some point I'm going to kind of slow down all my production and just purely focus on butchering all this stuff. I think the biggest thing for me is getting more bricks, finishing this, and then once I finish this, I can pretty much shut down my whole mining operation. The only reason we're doing any kind of mining is to be able to get more resources to be able to build up our upper or above ground fortress. Looks like there's definitely a lot less water, more down here because it's exposed to that wall. We're getting there to have less water in general in that area. And then once we get to expert level for the, was it giant toads is what I'm looking for. Where's those giant toads? Giant cave toads there. We're knowledgeable, but we're not quite experts. But once we get to the experts, I'll start butchering through a bunch of these giant cave toads. And then also with some of these other animals. We're getting there. We're not quite there yet, but we're definitely getting there. A couple different animals in here. Worms, snails, bark scorpions. That's just an empty cage. I think that's probably where they took the giant grasshopper from. Take a quick look at what animal do we have running around our kind of open area. Dingo, you're way over here, bud. Come attack. I swear, we're friendly. I want you to come and quote unquote attack. That way we can get more of you guys. I don't think I have any normal dingoes. They'll probably end up dying to these human mercenaries anyways. We're getting there. We're getting there with this fortress, and we're getting there overall. Alright, kind of gonna go over and explain a couple more things over here. Justice system, now that one dwarf threw his tantrum. Looks like he's got no open cases, so no one's seen him do anything, and it doesn't look like anything's been destroyed. So we've got a couple of different dwarves here. These are all our troublemakers so far. I disagree with this one. But we've got our brewer, which acted out earlier. We convicted him. He's probably been released from prison at this point. Yeah, he's no longer over here. He's back into the main group of everything. Oh. Someone saw him do that. Yep, report crimes. That is perfect. We're not losing anything there. So we'll just get this selected, and then once that first crime actually rolls in, this is a perfect example, we'll have a brand new open case. And you are already working on, or one of our dwarves should automatically be working on that. It's fine that they knocked over a cage trap, if anything. That's kind of perfect. Really don't care about cage traps. Especially right there. That's kind of just in case a flyer comes this way, but they're more likely to come into here. That's a late game protection right there. I do want to cover up some of this. Do I have any church now? Hopefully they've been making some stuff. Yeah, we got a couple of church there. We got a ways to go with our fortress overall. I should be able to at least make this next little wall right here. And then 2 more. Where can I put those last 2? Oh, right there. No, that'll be a wall. That needs a floor right here. And I've already got that set up. I do need a sandstone block there though. And then yeah, once I get this kind of set up, especially I can get this right here. I think I had enough sandstone block there. Perfect. Then I'll start covering this up so that they've got access right here to this floor. And I'll do it too like this. That way, once they have that built, our doors can work on stuff coming from up here and go walk over here or whatnot. Good. We're getting there. This is a mega fortress, to say the least, and it's all for these animals. And we might eventually turn some of these other spots to animal training spot or animal storage spots. Maybe even bring a couple up here. I prefer to keep them all closer down to the bottom. But you know what? This is our fortress dedicated to the animals, so that's what we're doing. All right. Now let's see. Do we have it? Yes, vandalism. Here's the thing. Open case. So these guys are all witnesses. They all accuse the same person. So you know what? We're going to interrogate the surgeon. I can convict them because we kind of already know that they did it. I want to interrogate them because our captain of the guard will actually get some skill in interrogating. And it'll be used later on in case I have artifacts stolen or there's certain plots or whatnot. Oh, you're going to jail for a minute, bud. Well, all that fat that needs to be rendered. I will probably end up making another workshop up top, another kitchen actually. So we'll do that right now. I'll build one here. That should be good, and we'll make it out of one of our random blocks that we got. Yeah, quartzite, why not? I'm actually also gonna do what I said earlier about that leather workers workshop. Set one up right here. That clay stone block, and then I can deconstruct this leather workers workshop and put another butchers in there. That way we can get through this backlog of all these animals. And once we get to that expert level with more, then it'll be quicker. It looks like dwarves are moving faster. We're able to finally, yes, whoever was super slowing that down, we're able to get past it. Good. And we're smelting up a lot of this platinum ore. We will run out of steel at some point, so I want to take a quick look at the bars. Bunch of iron bars, but yeah, we're running low on steel bars. Can I make pig iron? That will be my big thing. It doesn't look like pig iron because we require flux stone. Let's see what kind of stuff are flux stone. So stone use. Ooh, we've got calcite, chalk, dolomite, and limestone, and marble. It looks like. Prefer not to use marble. I like the idea of marble statues. So let's see what we can find as far as any one of those. Oh, we got some more siltstone here, so I'll designate that. Some more siltstone here. I'll get some of that lignite. Kaolinite. Oh, I can't mine any further that direction. That's fine. Because I like the jet, or I'll need the jet, that's fine. More siltstone. I think, yeah, that's as far as you go that way. I believe this is also over, yep, yes, chert. I'll select all this chert to be dug. Let's go down that next level. Rock salts, limonite, siltstone. Come on, there's gotta be some chalk around here somewhere. Fine with designating some more of this right here, chert and jet. What I can also kind of look for, well, actually, oh, chalk right here. Okay, so I'm gonna actually prioritize this to be priority 3 because I want this chalk to be done quicker. I believe, yep, more chalk down here. That's siltstone, so I'm not looking for siltstone. And yes, more chalk over here. Now we'll get all this chalk mined out because we need that to be able to make steel. Yeah, chalk. Jade, lavender jade, that's perfectly fine because lavender jade is basically just a gem. Nothing here. Nothing here. Let's see. Gness. Sapphire cluster, you know what, why not? Oop. Oh, it looks like I went back to slightly lagging, but we'll kind of get through this. What I might need to do is over here set up another little workshop area. If everything's shifted up, I've got another spot for workshops right here. With the stair being right there, I think that might be a good spot to be able to start setting up some workshops. So if I did it, it would be a giant wall right here, made out of chert, with maybe that door and that door be open. They'll come walking up just like that. Put floors in there. Okay, that dingo has made its way over to the human, that's fine. Interview scheduled, okay, good. Where is our captain of the guard? Are they doing what they need to do? That's the question. Nope, that's under other. Whoops. Yes, okay. Where is this guy? Are you him? You don't quite look like him. Yeah, captain of the guard. Alright, you are gonna go over there, or interrogate that person, and then we will convict him. What are you eating here, bud? That looks interesting. Ah, prepared grasshopper grasshopper intestine. Oof, whatever floats your boat, bud. Let's also make sure I know what we are cooking and what we're not cooking. On this first top spot, nothing to worry about. Yes, passion fruits, you're fine. We've got all these fisher berries, ratweed, and prickleberries. Yep, nothing here. Grasshopper tallow, we're going to throw that in there too. We've got all the other stuff we need to cook up anyways. Let's continue making more bars of soap. We're going to have so many bars of soap where dwarves won't have any clue what to do with it. And actually, let's make a lavish meal. I'm not sure why they're not eating all the lavish meals. Come down over here, select this. Look at my custom. Yeah, prepared meals should be over here. Our dwarves are told, hey, you can come eat that stuff. I know we've got it somewhere around here. I mean, it's probably the fact that they can't find it either. Alright, good. They're getting the second kitchen going. We'll have to move these sheets out of the way, but we got that. We got this leather workers workshop up here, so I can designate this to be removed. Now we'll set up some more caps to be made. So leather cap. Let's see what we want to make these leather caps out of. Bobcat leather caps? I like that idea. We'll make 40 of those. We got 40 bobcat leather. Start using up some of these things. I want to take a quick look over here. Okay, that weapon rack is what we need to do. What is your thing? Export of totems prohibited. That's perfectly fine because we're not exporting anything right now. Yes, we have that petrified wood weapon rack. And I want to take a quick look down here to see if I've got more siltstone made. We will cover up some more of these spots over here. Do not have any. Oh, yes, 8. Okay. And if I pause it, then I can see which ones have that 1 next to it. They won't do it on where it says 2, but I can select where it says 1. Even if it does go to 2, they'll still come over and they'll still build it up at the top. And this will prevent more water from flowing into here. Hopefully we're bringing that down that side of the lag. So stone block, perfect. And we just need to worry about cleaning up some of our animals. We just need to get to the point where they're all trained and we can get that done. That one, okay. So that star one is fine. I'm worried when we get all these Cape crocodiles done, when they get born. But we'll cross that road when we cross that road. We're working on butchering up everything else. Yeah, we now have a metalsmith. Sweet. I believe I've got enough platinum ore. We will make some more of those things to be able to bind books. Take a quick look. Oh yeah, 98. You know what? We'll do 30. Platinum. Huh. see what we can make. I'll definitely do the book bindings. Maybe I'll make some platinum goblets or mint platinum coins. Or stud things with platinum. We'll definitely do the book bindings first. We'll do 30 of these. We'll start off with that. Oh, giant gray horned owl we were able to capture. Yes, please. And that is exactly why I moved this door. I moved the cage trap here, built the door so our dwarves didn't get that buff to, or that thing that comes rushing out to attack them. Things come close and we capture them. That's perfect. That's exactly what I needed to have set up. And that just means more gray horned owl training. Which we've got a huge amount of them. And if we can get lucky, we can have one of our great horned owls maybe lay some eggs. Or not lay some eggs, maybe have some of their eggs finally be born, or if I can get that up to expert, I can finally go through and butcher a lot of these things. Because we're right there, we got knowledgeable, we're expert buzzards. We probably butcher a lot more buzzards now. Peregrine falcons. King snake, you really shouldn't be out there, but that's fine. Let's actually go through and butcher some buzzards and some. Okay, okay, the one with the name, don't touch. And this one that's perfectly trained, don't touch. And then I'll worry about, yeah, now the peregrine falcons are laying eggs, so let's go through and we'll do some of that. Peregrine falcons. Well, I'll leave the one with the name, because why not? Then we'll butcher all the males. And a couple of these females. And we'll go through the buzzards. So the one that's perfectly trained I won't touch, but all these ones that have slightly not perfect training, I will go through and I will butcher at least these three, because I know they're not trying to lay eggs. And once those buzzard hatchlings grow up, we'll worry about butchering them. Good. This is going down, so we should be able to get that next butcher up right here. With us being such an animal focused thing, we will definitely need as many butcher spots as possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and big. Ooh. Alright, build, workshop, farming, butcher, Gabra. Get that all set up right there. Looks like we got another kitchen all set up. Let's get render fat to be made. Yeah, you should be making that lavish meal. Good, we got the next butchers set up, so they're working on butchering up those peregrine falcons now. If you're hungry and thirsty, go. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Keep trying to use this stuff up as soon as we've got it. BNF. I'm gonna go all the way up to the tip top. Do I've got enough for this? 12. Do I have 12 chert blocks? I should have, yes, 24 or 25. Let's get that last little wall in right here. Oh, I don't have access right there. That's fine. We'll get that worked out here in a second. And now I've got all all this stuff made so that our dwarves can go wander anywhere they want using this staircase. And I can actually turn these into bedrooms right now. At least these two rooms. So, bedrooms. Who's an unhappy dwarf? Stonecrafter. I never did double check this. Vandalism. Yes, you've been interrogated. Scheduled interview. Interview scheduled. Alright, that means our dude should be somewhat close. Okay, you're walking with him right now. Perfect. Let's get this next bedroom set up. Just a sector. Go. Yes, it's perfect. That's perfect. I wonder what you are butchering. Agitated one hump camel head. Interesting, some of the things that you'll come across. Let's look at what other new random animal we got here. Oh, another peregrine falcon. That's fine. If we capture it, we capture it. If we kill it, that's fine too. I prefer if they just come down here and we capture it again. I'm gonna double check to make sure all my peregrines should be here. Yeah, you're not supposed to be wandering over that direction, bud. All of our giant one hump camels over here, or two hump camels, and once we get to the point where those are expertly trained, we will work on butchering you. Make sure all my one hump camels are selected. Oh, yep, you are fully grown. We will work on butchering you up. And let's just check out the overall training for some of our stuff. Buzzards, elephants, and birds. Elephants are untouched. Evexes, one hump camels, peregrine falcons. Okay. Yeah, our elephants over here, they've got 2 years. They're actually quite old at this point. 2 years, 2 years. I know I've probably got like a 3-year-old at some point over here. I'm hoping we can get some more of these elephants to finally grow up. Oh. Yeah, I think the oldest one is right here. You're 3 years old. Is it like 4-year mark is where it finally happens? Why are you in jail eating food, bud? You're eating prickleberries in jail. I just don't get it. Hopefully with another butcher hole, we should be able to help get through some of this backlog of animals we need butchered. I do want to separate animals from in here too. Alright, we just I'll have to make this into one of these mini ones too. So first, I would need to put this out to at least right here. A simple walkway to at least get there. Then once I can get there, I can actually build up the walls all around everywhere. Swarm of mosquitoes. And start by making this room back here at least. And then in order to build the roof, I've got access right here. These elephants. All my elephants eat grass way too quickly. Elk birds. I think all the elk birds that are alive are all just someone's pet. Nope, nope. You can be butchered. You can be butchered. Guess no, that person doesn't want to adopt those elk birds. I think that's all the elk birds I really want anyways. So I won't worry about doing any more training or capturing of elk birds. Still have those pond grabbers down here that are just not making anything else allowed to grow, or not grow, but spawn in these regions. So much water coming through here. Yeah, we're still at the very slow rate right now, where things just seem to be lagging, because I think like all this extra water in here is definitely affecting that. I'm not sure if it's like also from above or where it's coming from. If it's like spawning from above here. But I would think that this stuff should. Oh, great horned owl chicks. Oh, okay. Sweet. Yes, you guys are all gonna be available for that. We'll train all of you up also, and I also need to make sure I select you to stay in here. Horned. If I type that in, that should be. All said there. Perfect. Sweet. We got finally got some great horned owl chicks. They look exactly the same, but they're chicks, and that's perfectly fine with me. Are you guys gonna like literally starve to death here? At least one of you guys have left. Maybe it'll reset that training thing to where it should be. I was hoping they'd get rid of this giant agitated monarch butterfly chitin. We got plenty of space down here for you, bud. And you guys are still eating stuff that really doesn't need to be eaten. Let's see if I make a meeting hall over top of this. Except, oh, maybe I do need to set up a tavern area somewhere. It would be somewhere, maybe over here. get rid of this, make it extend out, put it over here, or I can actually have it completely underground. Have it come in here, go down, and go up, and have it up here. It'd be interesting. If we come up here, go up, and then we can have our tavern area over here. I'd much rather prefer it closer to the food. But that just does not seem quite feasible. But I think I will end up saying, hey, this is going to be the end of this episode. It's gone on way too long, but I'm going to basically record this back to back. So hopefully y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Adios now.